Here we are, over 6 months, no release of the semen. The first couple weeks are definitely really difficult, but now that I've actually proved to myself I can do something that I thought was impossible, it's not even possible. It's impossible. And I think it was in the Bible somewhere of talking about if you're trying to deal with lust and you have a lust addiction, it's impossible to beat it. We're over 6 months, no nutting. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. That's kind of crazy. Now that I think about it, it's crazy. Because at one point, bro, I swear, there was a point in time after you first, you get into that action of, having sex or, watching porn or getting your nut off, right? There was a point where 2 weeks was, impossible to me. I genuinely was like, bro, I can't even go 2 weeks. I couldn't even go a month. Here we are, over 6 months, no release of the semen. Yo. And honestly, it was a challenge that I wanted to do to see if I could mentally discipline myself to try to, first of all, one of the main reasons was to get rid of lustful thoughts and lustful actions and just become a better version of myself. Because you have to understand, everything in life is about energy. So if you're constantly thinking about porn, constantly thinking about sex, constantly thinking about girls, that is mental energy. That's energy that's taking up your mind that could be used somewhere else, making money, going to the gym, becoming a better version of yourself. So one of my main things was I need to try to get rid of these lustful actions so I can become the best version of myself. And here we are 6 months later. I will tell you exactly what happened, exactly how I did it, exactly how you might be able to replicate something familiar for yourself. So first of all, the celibacy started back in July. So July of 2025. But when I fully committed to it, it was in October of you know what? I'm just not going to do it for the rest of the year. I was tempted. There was multiple times where I wanted to. I was thinking about it. But now I'm at a point where it's I don't know how long I could go. I could low-key maybe go a year. That's not the plan, but it's just weird to think that there was once this impossible obstacle in your way. And I'll explain it to you guys because it gives you so much confidence in yourself and in your ability when you do something that was once impossible. So for me, like I said, 2 weeks was a long time. If someone would have told me that I was going to go 6 months without releasing any type of, I would have thought they were crazy. In my mind, it was impossible. But now that I defeated that limiting belief, because again, it's a limiting belief that you can't do it. I promise you can do it. It's going to be challenging. But now that I've actually proved to myself I can do something that I thought was impossible, bro, how many other things in life are there that I think are impossible that I now know I can do? Because at one point, if not nutting for 6 months was impossible, but I did it, maybe I can apply it to another area. At one point, I thought making $100,000 a month was impossible, but maybe I can apply that same logic to that. Or I thought that getting in 8% body fat, I thought that would be impossible. Maybe I can apply it to that. So one of the biggest lessons I learned is it's definitely a confidence booster because I just did something that I thought was impossible at one point. Now it kind of opens my mind to what actually is possible if I set my mind to it. And a lot of people, I feel like they haven't done these challenges. They haven't challenged themselves enough. So that is what ruins their confidence, is because they've never been challenged. If you're challenging yourself and you actually complete the challenge, you're going to surprise yourself and you're going to gain confidence. So it's definitely a big confidence booster. But how I'm feeling, honestly, I was since I set a date for the goal, and this is, I talk about this all the time. It's about goal setting, right? I set a time period of okay, I'm going to do this until the end of the year, until the end of 2025. So what was kind of going through my mind is, first of all, porn is not an option. Corn is not an option, right? And I realized that watching corn wasn't an option in February of 2025, because you have to understand, if you are deciding between two actions, whether it be go to the gym, not go to the gym, wake up early, not wake up early, watch corn, not watch corn, watch a TV show, or go do some activity that's good for you. If you're still deciding on what you should do, you are automatically going to do the more comfortable action no matter what. And I think it was in the Bible somewhere of talking about if you're trying to deal with lust and you have a lust addiction, It's impossible to beat it. You can't beat it. You have to eliminate it as an option. So watching porn and pornography is just not an option for me. I literally, like, it's not there. Like, even if I wanted to, I don't care if I wasn't getting asked for a year, 2 years, I would not watch it, okay? And you have to have that mentality of no matter what happens, I'm not watching porn. So it is not a possibility for me. It's not even possible. It's impossible, okay? So that was one. So now the only option that I have is getting buns with a girl or something. So in order to defeat this is going to be difficult, right? Remove all things. Again, you have to kind of remove an option. So I don't snap any girls. Not that that's a flex. That's definitely not a flex. But especially in my hometown, it's like there's no, like, I guess it's not as tempting. If I was in a big city and I was around a lot of girls, or I was going out all the time, then it's more tempting. But that's exactly why you have to remove the possibilities. So if you're going out every night, every weekend, right, you're going to have more, it's going to be easier for you to give in. If you're constantly texting girls, constantly snapping girls, constantly on Instagram, liking girls' pictures and everything like that, it's going to make it harder for you. So what I did, and this is what a lot of you can do, is you need to take that lustful energy that you have and put it into something else. The reason it was easier for me to do it, it wasn't easy, but it's easier for me than another person, is because I put all that energy that I have into, texting girls, going out every single weekend, snapping girls, into doing a side hustle, which you guys know I do TikTok Shop affiliate. And then I started my own business, which was fitness coaching and mindset coaching. So I took all that energy of that and put it into that. So I was working like all day, every day. And honestly, at one point, I'll say this. The first couple weeks of when I started were the hardest. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it was really difficult. But again, corn wasn't an option. And, I'm not going to lie. I think the first couple weeks that I started, I was probably texting girls. But I never did anything with them. It was just like, whatever. And then I just stopped doing it altogether. So the first couple weeks are going to be the hardest. But once you get past that first couple weeks, now it just became a habit for me to not even think about it. Like, I was working from when I woke up, going to the gym, eating until late at night, and I would be so tired from working that it wasn't even a thought to do that. Because again, corn isn't an option. My only option was getting buns with the girl, and that takes energy to be texting a girl, having to be like, yo, come over, or let me meet up. Like, that is all energy. It doesn't even matter what you say. Texting girls and trying to meet up with them and having sex with them is energy. So I took all that energy and just put it into, working on TikTok Shop affiliate or working on my fitness business. So at this point, I really didn't have that many options besides having to text a girl, which really wasn't, I didn't have the energy or time. I just told myself I don't have the energy or time. So everything is energy. And as long as you understand that, you have to remove that energy that you're giving the lustful activities and put it into something else. The problem is you're trying to stop watching corn. You're trying to do these things, trying to do these challenges, but you don't have anywhere to put that energy. And a lot of people will tell me, my clients especially, like, yeah, bro, I went to the gym today, I ate good, I have nothing to do, so I hopped on the game. Or, I watched a TV show, or I did this. Right? Which is cool. You can do these fun activities sometimes, but you have to understand, if you're going to cut out the bullshit activities, you have to put the bullshit activity energy into a good thing, which could be, going to the gym a second time, working on your business, researching a side hustle. There's so many things as a man that you can do that it's impossible to be bored as a man. I used to think I'm so bored, so I'm gonna just, I'm gonna go jerk off, or I'm going to text this girl, I'm gonna do this, right? It doesn't, you're going to think that you have nothing to do as a guy because your brain wants to do a comfortable option, which would be watching TV, watching corn, text a girl, whatever it is. But there are so many things you can do as a guy that are going to improve your life even better. Like I said, you can learn how to make money. You can go to the gym. You can meal prep. You can go hang out with your friends. There's a lot of things that you can do. But if you just try to remove a bullshit activity and you don't put that energy into something else, it's going to be much harder for you. So again, the first couple weeks are going to be hardest. It's really hard. But once you get past that and you stop thinking about it, but again, you have to set a time-oriented goal. I knew that, at the end of 2025, I'd be like, okay, I'm good. I can, go back to the normal activities, which I still haven't because, again, corn isn't an option. I really just haven't been focused on girls, but again, not a flex. I'm just telling you how it is. But the first couple weeks are definitely really, really difficult. And then after that, as long as you know like an end date, like let's say you're not going to watch corn or you're not going to do something, say for 3 months, right? It's not going to be as hard because imagine running on the treadmill and as soon as you get tired, you don't know how long you're running for. But if you know you're running for 3 miles or your goal is to run for 5 miles or 10 miles, you know you can look at where you're at and be like, okay, only this much more to run, only this much more to run. But if you're trying to do it without any end goal or any end date, it's going to make it way easier to give up because you're going to give into your urges because you think it's going to go on forever. I knew that it was going to be like I just had till 2025. So every time I thought about, oh my gosh, I just want to, watch some corn or really wasn't an option or just text this girl. I'm like, bro, you only have this much time left. You can do it. It's not that hard. But you have to set a time-oriented goal. So this goes into everything. If you have a goal of making money, you have a goal of getting in the gym, you have a goal of eating healthy, you have a goal of cutting out going out on the weekend, you have a goal of stop, texting girls, random girls, make sure it is time-oriented. Make sure, okay, I'm not going to do this for January, February, March, but after that, I'll give myself the option to do that if I want to. You know what I'm saying? Because now you have a time period of what you can do. It's going to make it easier to actually follow through with that. So that's something that definitely helped me was knowing that there was an end and not thinking it was just a tunnel of foreverness of, I could never do this. So that's something that definitely helped. And I'll tell you my experience, like how it also helped in my life. Like I said, bro, when that isn't an option to text girls or, to have sex with girls, now I'm taking that energy from before that you have and putting it into something else. So it made my life better. I made more money than I ever have. I've gotten the best shape of my life. I've been able to travel. I've been learning a lot more skills. I got better at my side hustle. I started a different business. I've done all these things that were improvements of my life because I took that energy from before and put it into something else. But don't cut out these bad habits like going out on the weekend or watching corn or hanging out with girls that you don't really care about. Don't take that and put it into a different bad habit like, oh, well, I'm not going to watch corn or I'm not going to text this girl, so I'll go play video games all night. That is not going to improve your life. There's no reason to do this type of challenge unless it's going to improve your life and make it better by putting that energy into something else. So we officially completed the challenge. I'd say it's definitely a good challenge, but again, it's not really health beneficial because as a guy, I'm pretty sure I read like you're supposed to nut like 20 times a month. And obviously we have not been doing that, but it definitely changed me as a person. Like just the way I thought about things. Like I used to think like I needed to nut. Like I thought I couldn't like go 2 weeks without doing it. Now I know that if I put my mind to something and I really want to do it, I can do it. A lot of people don't have that confidence and that self-conviction in themselves because they've never done a thing. Yeah, you could be like, oh yeah, I could do that if I wanted. But now I know exactly what I'm capable of. And it's going to change my perspective in a lot of other ways with a lot of other challenges. So I think everybody should give themselves a difficult challenge. It doesn't have to be celibacy. But it could be, waking up at a certain time every single morning for a certain period of time, or taking a cold shower every single day or a cold bath every single day for a certain period of time. Because now it's going to boost your confidence because you're doing something that's difficult. Do something that's really challenging, something that you think is impossible. Like something that kind of scares you a little bit. It could be running an extreme amount of miles, not like, 1 mile or 5 miles. I'm talking about like 50 miles or something like that. Depending on who you are, like maybe if you're like really overweight, like running a marathon or something, do something that you think is impossible for a time, like just do it in 2026. I promise you your life will change because now my confidence in anything is just like, bro, I know I can set my mind to something and do it because I just proved to myself that, I can do this. But I think especially as a man, especially kids, bro, no, not even kids, just as a man in general, going celibate for 6 months is a challenge for every man. I don't think there's probably some men, but a very small percentage of the population would think it's not challenging. So that's a challenge you can give to yourself. Obviously, you're gonna be like, no, I don't want to do that, but that's why you should do it. You should do things that you don't want to do so it can challenge you and you can grow. A lot of people you're not gonna get better by doing comfortable shit all the time. And I say this all the time. Right? Do uncomfortable shit if you actually want to get better and you actually want to grow. And 2026 is the year. it is time to lock in. All right. So if you have been bullshitting the past couple years, you say you're going to get in the gym, you say you're going to change your life, you say you're going to do that business, but it becomes this cycle over and over and over again. This is one way, this is one thing that will change your life. Do something that is really impossible, that you think is impossible right now, and just start doing it. Because at the end of the day, I'll put it like this. Even if you think not nutting for 6 months is impossible, which again, I was there before, it comes down to an everyday decision, right? However long you think it is going to be impossible for, like, let's say you think it's going to be impossible to do it for a month. Question, why is it impossible? Like, all it takes is you to just not do it. I know it sounds simple, but it's not easy. But literally, it takes no skill. You could have no skill in the world. Literally, you could be the most dumb person, have no skill at all. All it takes is willpower of just saying, no, I cannot do this. And you have to make that decision every single day for 6 months. It sounds scary, but it goes in waves of you really want to, and then you don't really think about it for a while, then you really want to. And just in those times where you really want to, that's where you need to lock in and focus and be like, no, I'm not doing this shit. And then before you know it, bam, you completed the challenge and you're good to go. And now you feel confident. But definitely a crazy thing. I don't know when the challenge will end. I mean, it's technically ended, but it's not like I was fiending for a little bit, but again, it goes in ebbs and flows. So that is kind of my take on this whole celibacy challenge. After 6 months, is literally it's definitely life changing. Everyone should do a challenge like this, and I feel like if you haven't changed your life and you say you're going to do it every single year, this is something that will change your life. It'll boost your confidence. It'll open up your mind. It'll do so many good things for you. But again, you cannot take that energy and put it into another bad negative energy thing. Put it into something that is going to benefit your life. All right, so that's really all I got to say today. Especially as guys, bro. That shit is definitely difficult. So if you're like, oh, I don't know what challenge to do, I don't know if I should, start waking up earlier, take a ice bath, I don't know. You're just bitching. You know exactly what you need to do. And if you're saying you don't, I'll give you a challenge right now. Go 3 months. Go till 3 months of celibacy. Literally no nutting at all, all right? If you want a challenge for yourself, by the end of 3 months, you'll be a different person. You'll be mentally disciplined. You'll be the best version of yourself of all time, all right? If you guys are looking for fitness and mindset coaching, DM in the link below. I'd be more than happy to help you guys out.